Hey everybody, this is Griffin O'Connor, writer, creator, and narrator for Zack versus the Paranormal. If this is your first time here, I want to welcome you and thank you for taking the time to listen to this episode. If you haven't yet, and maybe you'll wait till the end, make sure you subscribe. And if you don't want to subscribe, I understand. But before you write me off, come back every episode because there are tons of content coming out, including in the next couple years, a Hocus Pocus scripted podcast. So, without further ado, Chapter 5. Zack scaled the library floor to floor. In his mind, he hoped to find Sophie and Millie exploring or playing a trick on him. Sophie and Millie were nowhere to be found. Zack was alone, and he was scared. For the first time in Zack's young life, he was all alone. No family, no friends, and what's worse is he really had to go to the bathroom, but didn't trust public facilities. Later, as Zack sat in the library trying over and over to come up with a solution to all of this, every time a plan seemed like it had potential, Zack could almost hear Sophie's voice in the background dismissing it, followed by a smack to the side of the head. "Come on, Zack, get your head in the game," he thought to himself, burying his head low and stomping in place, trying to jolt any sort of idea. Then, a creak in the floorboard immediately alerted his spidey senses. Hello?" Zack called out, but no one responded. The sound of someone sneaking around became clear to Zack. So being sly, he pretended not to notice the uninvited guest. Zack then headed over to a closet down the hall, waiting for the perfect opportunity to sneak up on the invader. Zack hid behind a corner wall. He could hear the intruder coming closer. Zack tensed up, fearing that it was another drone waiting around to capture him. He jumped out from behind with a jump kick move he learned from watching a Kung Fu TV marathon once. Hi-ya! Zack shouted, standing in a poor excuse of a fight stance. "Whoa, whoa, whoa! It's me!" a voice declared, hunched over, cowering in fear covering their face. "Who's me?" Slowly, the figure rose to reveal their identity. "Will?" Zack asked. It was, you guessed it, Zack's arch nemesis, Will Wheeler, cowering like a child who just saw his first horror movie. What are you doing here?" Zack asked, angrily, insulted that he, of all people, would be the same place he was. "Wait, are you one of them?" Zack grabbed a mop head and aimed it at Will. "One of what? Who?" Will asked, shielding himself from harm. "Those things, those drones." No. I swear, I'm not with those guys." "Then what are you doing here?" "Well, after the whole town went cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, I darted out of there as quick as I could and hid here. Figured the library was the last place anyone would go." "That's the last place you would go," Zack mumbled under his breath. "What was that?" Will asked curiously. "Nothing." "Why didn't you say anything earlier?" Zack walked past Will and over to a chair in the near distance. Will looked around curious. "I was hiding in the basement. I didn't know who was there, so rather than out myself and get caught, I just laid low. Once I realized who it was, I figured I could lend my services. It's a little too late, don't you think? Speaking of, I could have sworn I heard another voice. Zack perked up, sadness weighing heavy in his eyes. Sophie. Will's eyes lit up. Sophie? Sophie's here? Will began to check the smell of his breath, straighten up his appearance, and check out his looks in the reflection of a dusty table. Zack's face was anything but pleased. He rolled his eyes, watching Will, making sure he looked good for Sophie. She's not here, Zack interrupted. Will stopped and looked over at Zack. What? Then who was with you? I mean, Sophie was here, but... Zack trailed off, averting his eye contact from Will. They got her, didn't they? Will asked, subtly. Zack didn't even respond. All he could muster was the ability to shake his head in agreement. Will slumped to the floor. His legs sprawled open like he gave up. I can't believe it. Zack looked over at Will. Yeah, well, believe it. So, what are we gonna do? Will asked frantically. We? Zack asked sarcastic. There is no we. Only you and me. I mean, technically, it's you and I, Will corrected, instantly raising the blood pressure of Zack. Huh. Well, I can see why she likes you, Zack said, moving over to another side of the library. Will looked confused. What are you talking about? Zack sighed. Just forget it. Hey, if you got something to say, Nelson, at least have the stones to say it to my face. Zack stood up powerfully. Fine. Sophie told me all about your date. Oh? Will replied submissively. Then, he piped up with enthusiasm. Isn't it crazy? The smartest girl and I on a date? Who would have thought? No one. No one. Zack mumbled. Will became aware that Zack wasn't exactly throwing a party at the idea of Sophie and him. You know she rejected me countless times, don't you? Zack looked up. She did? Oh yeah. Like heck of times. I actually gave up. Then how did... Zack asked. Will interrupted. It was sort of a during the summer thing. You know, we were both attending this camp. Wait. Are you really about to reference Greece, dude? Never mind then. It doesn't matter. Sophie clearly likes you, so nothing I say makes a difference. Will stopped and looked at Zack with a bit of a smirk on his face. Are you kidding? Your opinion's everything to her. What are you talking about? You guys were going to the movies on Friday, Zack said confidently. Is that what she told you? Yeah. Well, but I hate to break it to you, but Sophie told me that as her best friend's sworn enemy, her and I could never be. Zack had just realized something. He was being a selfish jerk. Here he thought Sophie had gone behind his back, but in fact just the opposite. In that very moment, Zack knew he couldn't give up. His mom, his dad, Millie, and especially Sophie needed him. Zack proudly stood up. Right. We need a plan. A plan for... to get everyone back. Well, not zombie-like. And how do you plan on doing that? Zack looked fiercely at Will. I don't know, actually. Then we're back at square uno. Will and Zack took a seat, both of them unsure of what to do next. The video camera. Zack uttered under his breath to himself. Huh? Will questioned, with a raised eyebrow. My video camera. Kind of a strange time to record some home videos, don't you think? No. The ghoul said that a part of the camera's mechanism is how she got into our world. But how? In all honesty, that sounds like very unrealistic. What amateur would write that lame piece?